See how long the lag is. Still says it's waiting for me. Oh, come on. Oh, there we go. That leg is pretty long tonight. Hi, everybody. Welcome to this overstuffed house. Tonight we have a live sale, and I think next week we will too. So, who's here? Somebody's here. Hey, Harry. Harry, have you found anything good lately? I've been so busy with Scouts, I haven't seen any of your videos for the last 2 weeks because I'm kind of going nuts. It's crunch time for advancement for 30 some kids. So, found anything good this week, Harry? If you like finding like yard sale finds, Harry finds some amazing stuff at yard sales and estate sales, usually estate sales. He finds some awesome stuff. Oh, you lucky sucker. I haven't left my house other than running around trying to do other things and then Scouts because it's advancement time. So who do we have? We have Harry. We have Linda. Hi, Linda. Linda's here. I was just looking at your name today. Sherry's here. Nora's here. And yes, I'm doing well. I wasn't this morning. My hip was a little out of joint, but Mike, they taught at physical therapy, they taught me how to get that fixed. So Mike has to do it because my one leg has to go over his shoulder. So my son helped pop it back into place. And so it's been a very, very, very busy time because of this is the most hands-on for Boy Scout advancement I've ever been. Just because we've had so many kids join at 13 and 14 in the last 13 months that instead of keeping up going, usually they rank up as a patrol. They work together and work their way up. But by having so many kids join over this space of time, we have older kids that are like all over the 4 lower ranks. And so, you know, we've had to actually switch gears and try to teach by rank. So everybody going for tenderfoot, come over here. Everybody going for second class, you go over here. And then of course there's a couple of kids who we have 2 boys. I have 2 boys who their very first trip was summer camp last summer. They were not happy about daddy long leg spiders. I found out that one of them had lived in the city, so he knew nothing about stuff outside in the wilds. But by the end of it, they were having a good time, and they have now jumped. Both of them are going to jump all 3 lower ranks: tenderfoot, second class, and first class. And they're not the only ones. There's another young man who's going to jump as well. So there's 3 definitely that are jumping 3 ranks. By the time we get to the second week of April, there should be at least 10 others that are going to jump 2 ranks. And that'll get everybody in line with where they should be for the age group they're in. And actually, there's like the one group below them is actually caught up to them. So we're going to actually have a lot of them who are all going to hit first class because by doing it by rank, it's been chaotic, but it's brought some of the younger ones up faster than they normally would be. So it's been a little crazy. Oh, Nora, you're freezing. It's 48 outside here right now. And so far, Gimli came in. He doesn't like being cold because he got out when I put some trash out. But the doctor's still out. But I know exactly where she's at because I could hear a cat going into the styrofoam container that's right outside the window here on the one porch. So I'm sure she's hiding in her little spot. She has a little shelter out there filled with straw, and she likes to hide out there. And from where she's at, she lays in there and she watches the backyard. because where I put it, it's pretty far up the porch, up against the wall. But I tilted it because when I realized what she was doing, I angled it. So she lays in that with her face. I go in and watch her sometimes and I'll see just this little head through the little hole looking at me. And she just watches her domain. She just watches the backyard, watches the raccoons run back and forth. When in summertime, when the spring, when the groundhog comes around, she'll watch him. She watches the possum go by. The only time I saw her not happy is that she was in the shelter and I kept hearing her growl, but I couldn't figure out why. So I went out with a flashlight, and a mother possum had decided to take a rest with like 5 little babies on her back. She was sitting on top of the styrofoam cooler while the doctor was inside of it. And she was just resting there, just laying there. And she had kind of laid to one side. She was letting the kids eat. And yeah, she was just nursing her little ones. And the doctor was none too happy about it. So I know she's okay. And when she wants in, she'll she'll scratch on the screen. And so I'll let her in then. But yeah, it's been kind of crazy. Good news though, we now have a roofer. Yes. After trudging through 4 different people, 4 quotes, one was very, very rude and definitely won't be using them and ever for anything with the attitude they gave me over the phone. And the guy, they didn't even have the nerve to call me themselves. They got somebody else to do it, who was the foreman I had talked to, because they're currently working on a house, doing the garage on a house 2 doors over. And I could hear him in the background, loud and clear, telling the guy what to say. And I heard the language he used about it too. Yeah, no. So we know what it would be to do the entire roof, which would be out of the budget because there's just so many peaks and dormers and join spots and all this other stuff. And then we found a guy who's got a really good high rating on his reviews online, and he's right here in Chester. And he was his rating is like a 4.9, and then the one we were gonna use that was next door that I wanted to get a quote from them, theirs was 4.7. And they didn't have as many reviews. So I ended up getting this guy, and he went up there, had me go up and sit in the windowsill out, not anywhere where there was a drop off, but where it was the flat spot up on the 3rd floor. And he and his buddy are up there and they're pounding on the roof with the one end, with the curved end of a crowbar. And you can hear solid, solid, solid thunk. There's a spot. Just with tapping it, they found where the water is probably leaking in, because they said when they found it way up above the dormer, you don't see any cracks, but somewhere something has failed, because even though the shingles are still there, you can push and everything's all spongy. So they will clean all that blasted trumpet vine off the roof. There are 3 spots where pieces of siding up around the 3rd floor fell off. They'll fix that. The very top crown of the chimney needs pointing. He'll do that. Most of the roof is solid and well done. There's only a few spots that he feels he has to do. So what he's going to do is take off just those spots and do it as a repair. And he's going to seal up and put new pieces of aluminum on where the pieces had fallen down. One spot's pretty rotted, so he's going to put a new board up on that spot. And I'm getting a deal on that because I actually have a board. I actually have one. I said, oh, the board for that's in the basement. And he's like, you're kidding. I'm like, no. I had gotten a friend to climb up there and measure it, but then I never got to it to fix it. So I have the wood for that job. So he'll do it. I have the wood. So he's going to do that. And he's going to seal up the kitchen porch roof so no more raccoons in the ceiling of the kitchen. So Mama will have to find a new home. And he'll get rid of uh we did figure out where the one is getting in over my room, because where I had the big hole like this that I had put the spray foam insulation in has all been ripped out. So it's coming in through that hole, but we still haven't figured out how the one's getting in over Mike's room. He didn't immediately see any holes up there, but he says there's got to be somewhere, because they don't need that big a space though either. They only need a space about, yay big, which is about the size of a cantaloupe, and they can get in. And some of them, if they're young, and he said, and if they're males, it can be even smaller, because they don't have real wide collarbones or hip bones as males, and it's 2 males. They found no evidence of termites, thank goodness, so far. Because they haven't ripped anything up. It's just 100-year-old wood that's gotten wet. And yeah, you can have termites here. But he did not find any termites. But he hasn't ripped anything up yet. He thinks it's all just water seepage and then drying, which in 100-year-old wood is going to cause dry rot. So, and so he's going to take care of that. He's going to fix the little part of the top of the chimney. And he's going to fix at the top of the front of the house. It has a spot that just comes out. And then there's about 18 inches that comes straight. And then there's a gutter. And that has just got a tin undercoating. And it's just had like goop put over it. But that's failing. So he's going to fix that too. I used to crawl on that thing to clean the gutter that hangs off of it. I don't have to ever do that again. But it is within the budget. It is within the budget of the grant. So fingers crossed you won't find any real big surprises, because it's going to take, we only have a grand extra for any surprises. So we'll see. Because he tried to factor in knowing that there's going to be some wood that's going to have to be replaced. But this does not fix the wood problems of the kitchen porch. This just seals it up so nothing else can get in there. But the kitchen porch isn't causing water and damage in the kitchen. It's the 3rd floor. It's the big roof. So it's been good. Now the funds from that grant, now that we have to put the written estimate in, so we did that. That money won't be here till the end of the month. They review it, and then they'll call him, and then they'll give me the money. So it won't get done until the 1st week of April, but everybody that needs to have paperwork has paperwork. So fingers crossed it's all approved and good. And I don't think it will be a problem, because he knew all about this. He knew all about this grant, and so it should be good. So that'll be a good thing. But I've had to walk around the house and take them upstairs and then take them to the 3rd floor. Only the first one that was such a rot never talked to me directly, never even told me they had looked at the house. The other 3 looked at the house. So I had to give 3 of them tours. The other 2, one of them said it would be $80,000 to do the whole roof up top, and that didn't count doing anything extra like sealing the one porch and all that. And I'm like, yeah, no. And the other one was funny. They said it would probably be, to do everything would be $100,000. And I went, well, that's not going to happen either. And I asked all of them, what about just doing a repair if you find that the rest is solid and in good shape? And the two other ones flat out said, well, that's a stupid thing to do. And the one actually called me. He says, little lady, that's not what you want to do. And I'm thinking, little lady? Dude, you know, no. Definitely not getting it. Definitely not. Yeah, I mean, I have had not only some of you viewers reach out to me and email me, but Trisha from San Leonardo, she has talked to me and warned me. She's like, no, I don't have any homeowners insurance. That's part of the problem. Because I couldn't afford it when after mom died. And so I still don't have it. And now with me having the pinched nerve and no official job other than this, I don't have it back yet. But they might have paid for when the neighbor's tree broke my house, when they broke the eave supports on the kitchen porch roof. They might, if I'd had insurance, it might have paid that. But getting them to pay out for tree damage is tricky. They don't always want to do that. But this other guy has been such doll, and he's like, he's fascinated by the house. He's like, God, look at this. The front window, you've got wavy glass in these front windows. And then we're walking around. And he goes, wait a minute, you changed the windows. I went, yeah. And he says, but you left and he looked at me right away and he goes, is this house some kind of historic house? So I told him some of the background of the house, and it is one of only two houses of the Wetherell family that were very important at one point in Chester. That it's only one of two houses still in private hands that hasn't been either chopped up into offices for Widener University or chopped up into apartments like the one on the corner. And he went, oh, okay. He says, well, then we got to make sure we get this taken care of before it ends up really damaging everything. But he also he's a company that also does contracting work. He has a master electrician on his staff. He doesn't have a master plumber, but he does have a master electrician. They also do gutter cleanouts. They also do, small repairs when we wanted to just do the siding or take all the siding off, have the wood repaired. They don't do the painting, but I know 3 different guys that do painting. So I really like this guy, and all of his reviews are good. So, so he's the one we're going with. So it's going to be good. He even while he was up there, he's taking pictures while he was climbing around on the roof with his guy, and they're texting me the pictures in real time. I can hear them talking, and he goes, here comes another one, and my phone would go ding, and there's another photo of something they found. So I got to see what they were seeing all the way up on the 3rd floor roof. So I got to see the hole where they said, hey, there's this big hole here. And I went, oh, look, I can tell you what I had filled that with spray foam insulation. And he goes, well, I can see all these other little spots. I said, yeah, that was just a stopgap measure to get us through the winter. But the raccoon, it didn't stop that raccoon for more than 2 nights, I don't think. So it dug it right out of there. But so I knew about that one. And then he showed me where they think the bad leak is that we couldn't find. There's a window you climb out of. So if you're looking at the house this way, the 1911 roof comes this way, and there's this window here. Well, that comes out onto the roofs where the 1935 and 1911 meet. So there's this flat spot. Well, somewhere at the corner of this window and where this flat spot is, that's where the most water is coming out of for the leak upstairs. And it doesn't start right away. It'll be raining hard, and then all of a sudden you hear all this water just start streaming down and it doesn't stop. So it's coming from somewhere further up and it's pulling somewhere. And then when it overflows, it flows down into what you guys saw with the live when I had the heavy rain. So, so he knows that it's got to be somewhere up there, which is why he started working his way up at all the spots where all that stuff would meet, because his first thought was that flashing had failed. And so he's tapping, and then all of a sudden he hears a different thunk, and I could hear it because I was sitting in the window. It definitely was not a solid sound. It was not. So he thinks that what's happened is that whoever did the roof before, when they did it in the 90s, they didn't cover, like now they cover everything with Tyvek sheeting. But you have to make sure that it's done correctly, and you can't leave any blank spots. And he wonders if the guy left the blank spots where he, like the Tyvek, like there's a gap, so there's a spot where it doesn't have any plastic sheeting under it. So he'll take care of it all. And there's not a chimney anymore on that side of the house. That's what I have. The chimney goes up the pantry wall and it goes up my bedroom wall, but it doesn't actually appear on the roof anymore, because when my brother-in-law, my dad, did the roof in the, well, I was 13 when they got married. So in the late 70s, maybe early 80s, like 81, 80 maybe. But they did the roof. And Dad didn't want to repoint that chimney, so he just pushed it off the roof. Yeah, so they just shoved it off the roof and then capped the roof over. So the chimney goes up and then there's nothing there. But on this side is the fireplace and the heater. So there is a chimney on that side. So he's going to check where the flashing on that side goes around the trim of the, because there's a little bit of an overhang roof. And how to explain it to you? There's aluminum siding underneath, but he thinks if something failed, that aluminum siding, you could tell where it's running, water has been running against the brick. And he thinks water's from the roof where there's damage. It's pulling up and then filling up that aluminum siding piece, the flat piece. And then when it overflows, it's flowing down the chimney itself. It's just running right down that line, because you can see moss growing all over the roof up there on that spot, because that one spot is the north point of the house. It doesn't get sun at all, ever. Maybe a trifle in winter, so it never really quite dries out, which is why that little section of roof is in such bad condition compared to everything else. But the part where the bad leak is some kind of failure underneath, because that's where it does get sunlight. So he was very thorough and he was really surprised. You know, I don't really know. My mom used to know the square footage of not only the house, but every single room and the property. And I used to keep telling her, write this down for me. There's 10 rooms. The property itself is 65 feet by 130 feet. The house has 10 rooms, 3 floors, full basement. Ceilings down here are 9 feet high on the first floor. They're only 8 feet high on the second floor. And on the attic and the bedroom, I think that's only 7 foot high. Let's see. The playroom, I know, is 9 foot by 8 foot 11 inches square. That has a little tiny powder room off of it. This room is almost the length of the house. This room is, I think, 12 feet wide by, I think this room, the living room, is, I think, 17 feet long. That includes like both ends, because there's an archway right above my head, which is brick underneath the plaster. That's where it used to end in 1911. So yeah, it's a big place. It's a very big place. And up on that roof, you've got a peaked roof that goes this way with windows that are double windows that open out like that, from 1911. So you've got those two dormers, big dormers, and then you've got the weird space. Like, you've got this weird space where there's this landing, and that has a window that you can access the roof from at the back of the house. But then off of that, there's this shorter roof, which doesn't go up as high as the 1911. And that's the roof above my bedroom. But it does make a tiny little bit of a peak. So there's a crawl space from the attic into that area. I've been in that. That area, while the attic is 7-foot ceiling, that area is only about 4 foot high. Somewhere in there should still be, if the weather hasn't rusted it, there should be a fire engine pedal car in that hole, along with God knows what else. So, but with that raccoon getting in there, it has access to the attic, which worries me because there's horsehair furniture up there tucked away in that attic. I don't want it tearing that apart. Because I can't get to where that is. But yeah, it's a big place. My parents got it, and the woman they bought it from is the woman it was built for. She lowered the price for them because she thought this was always a house she thought would be great. She wanted it filled with kids, and it never was, except when her brother, she had a twin. Her name was Sarah, and her twin brother's name was Isaac, and he was diagnosed with cancer. And so in 1935, they added on to the house, and I knew he moved in. What I found out from meeting some of the Wetherill family is that he moved in because he had cancer, and he moved in with his wife and their, at the time, 8-year-old son. So he only lived here for 2 years before he died. But he knew that way his wife and son would have a place to live after he was gone. I don't know how long they lived here and how long Sarah lived here. She was well into her 80s when my mother met her. And when she found out they had 5 kids, at the time, she knocked $2,000 off the price of the house so they could afford to buy it. They bought this house for $15,000. I can't even get a decent car for, you know? Oh, wow. Yeah, raccoons can be. We've had female raccoon in the kitchen porch roof. It's not the same one. We're on the second or third female up there, all from the same generations. But what happens is they chase the males, and the 2 that got in on the 3rd floor roof line, they're 2 of the males, and they are now, this summer will be their 3rd year. So they'll be going into being 3 years old, because she had them last year, and then the end of by last summer she had a second brood, so she chased the ones from the year before, go find your own homes, and they found it by getting in upstairs there. I looked into getting one of those steel roofs, but they are even more expensive because they have to usually they have to reinforce your roof to carry the weight. Hello, Warren. So they're just doing black shingles, which will match what's up there. And I would love to, at some point, get you know, a lighter color shingle, like a gray or a brown, because the house originally had wooden shakes on it. And actually, underneath the edge of the front porch, you can actually see the ends of those wooden shakes sticking out. So it originally had wooden shingles on it. When I was growing up, it had what were probably asphalt shingles that looked like slate. And that's what my brother-in-law and my dad took off. And and then it got the usual, what are they called? Asphalt shingles. So yeah, around here they didn't, the when we looked last year, we're looking into a metal roof. They told me they don't do any repairs. So if it's leaking, you have to get somebody to already take care of that first. And then they'd come in and put a metal roof on. And I'm like, well, if I got to pay somebody, I'm only paying one person. And it just worked out better because I mean, even at 50,000 to do an entire roof is not bad for the amount of odd angles there are and the amount of roof space that they got to cover. But the fact that he's willing to do it as a repair and only rip up the sections that he feels really need it, that's fantastic. And he's really happy that a lot of the old wood is still in good shape. The only spots he's seen are the same spots I saw, where anything that Dad had covered with aluminum siding has basically started to dry rot because it's acting like an oven to wood that was from 1911, and it's all starting to just crumble. And so at some point, I would love to have all that aluminum taken off, but I'll have to have most of the wood replaced. So that's going to come later. He was really surprised, though. I gave him the measurements for that and said, you need this for that. And the board is in the basement. And I said, you're going to come around to this spot and you're going to find a whole piece of crown molding that's this wide that fell off and doesn't exist because it fell off and it fell through the hole and is in there somewhere. And I originally thought that might be where the raccoon was getting in, but all the metal mesh that I had a couple of years ago when that piece fell off, because I didn't want bats up in there. So I had molded a piece of metal mesh over what was left and nailed that in, and that's still there and intact. So he's gonna see if he can't find a way to fix that as well. So hi, Lorianne. So I told him, I said, that I never did have a way to replace because I just don't have the right tools to make curved bits of molding and then attach it all together so it would match the good end of it. I don't have any of the right kind of tools to be doing that. So he'll be taking care of that. And he said he'd fix the one window for free. He's like, you're missing 2 panes of glass. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I might actually have glass in the basement for 2 of them, but I know I have the little angled triangular piece of glass for the curved window that's on the side of the house. The problem is that all the glazing has to be done on the outside. There ain't enough whiskey on this planet to get me up on a ladder that has to go from the ground to the 3rd floor. Nah. There's not enough whiskey on this planet to get me up a ladder that high. So I have to figure out something else. I did notice, though, I did take a good look that those windows are built into wooden panels, and the only thing holding the wooden panels of those windows into place in the upstairs bedroom on the 3rd floor is the molding. Is the actual window frame molding piece. So I think if I take that piece out, I might just be able to tilt the windows in, and then I can reglaze the whole thing, paint it, and put it back up. I know how to do that. I know basic carpentry. So I might take you up on that, Robin. Because if that one needs it, certainly the one on the north side of the house is going to need it. So, but at least the one on the north side of the house, I know comes apart. Because in the attic, they never finished off all the trim. It literally has, it has pieces that they're just slats. They're just little slats that fit over the crack line of where the window meets the frame of the house. And then it has these little metal twist things that go over to top of that and hold them tight in place. But if you take them off, you can, that whole window you can pull right towards you. So so that one, I guess they maybe they at some point used to put a exhaust fan in that window, because there used to be these really heavy gauge, they weren't hooks, they had a screw end, but they were shaped like an L, and this end had the screw part in, and they stuck out from underneath that window. So I kind of think they may have, at some point, they used to put an exhaust fan in the window, like those big old attic ones, and had that in the summer. I can't leave that door open because I have cats. They cannot go into that attic, especially now with critters. No, because they're all stupid. Gimli's the only one that knows anything about anything outside. If he is out in the evening, the doctor stays near him. And I think she's making sure he knows stay away from certain things. I don't know. But so far, he hasn't had a cross with anything major. So, well, we've spent the last half hour getting caught up, which is fine. I don't mind. It gave Lorianne, our own Sugar Britches there, a chance to finish up her book sale. Every Thursday night, Sugar Britches Sweet Ass Stuff has a book sale on her channel, and she finds the most amazing books. And I was really hoping to come see you this summer, Lorianne, but we'll see. That roof may take up the saved up money that I've put aside for it. It might take that too. So we'll find out. We'll find out. So, but I have an odd collection of stuff. I have not looked all of it up because it has been crazy for Scouts and with the roofers, because that takes up, I mean, each one of them was here that actually like came into the house and went up on the roof. Each one of them was here for almost 3 hours. So the nice part is I got estimates right then and there from all three of them. You know, they knew what they were doing. They had forms that you filled in and had prices, and they figured the whole thing out. But the best price was the guy who's willing to just do it as a repair as opposed to doing the entire roof. The other two weren't willing to go up there and do it unless they were going to do the whole thing. So it was all or nothing. So it's nothing for them. So let's see. I have, did you like that thumbnail? I actually have 2 pieces of Wedgwood. So, hello, Chicago lady. All the windows in the front of my house are the kind that have the weights still in them. But when they put in the Window Pro put in the windows, they never, this one's still crooked and it won't close right. That one won't stay closed. Mike had to shove a board into it. And I've never gotten, there's supposed to be a lifetime guarantee, and I've yet to be able to get them to come back and fix them properly. And they never put insulation in the old weight wells with the holes in the window frame for the weights to go up and down. So that's a lot of cold air that comes in through those. But I didn't do anything with the front windows because I wanted to keep the original look for the house. Oh yeah, I'm not fixing what doesn't need to be fixed. And what needed to be fixed first was to make the place watertight. Because then we've got to tackle, we've got plumbing and electrical things. We got to tackle them. Plastering, little wood repairs, I've been doing them as I could. That all got put on hold, some of it, when my back got so messed up. So now I redid the staircase, and I tried to teach Mike, but you can tell which steps he did as opposed to which steps I did. Because of the 4 I did, you can only tell that one of them was repaired because the front of the steps have a rounder. So in some houses, that's a piece of trim. It's not that the board goes straight over and then the front of the step is rounded. In 1911, that's actually a piece of trim made of whatever is the same wood that they used for the step. But over the decades, the nails would start working their way out a little bit. Dirt gets behind there and it starts making a little gap. Well, to get it back in, you have to get all that dirt out of there, run a little bit of sandpaper down through it. You don't have to take the whole thing off. You just have to get down in there, though, clean it out. Put a little wood glue, take a board, tap the board, not the actual wood of the step, to get everything to go back into place tight. Leave it alone. And it'll seal right up and looks like nothing ever was apart. One of mine, the wood somehow is warped a little bit, and I couldn't get the one end back in flush. Neither one of Michael's are in right because he didn't want to take the fuss of having to get all the gunk out of it. So at some point I'll fix that. But yeah, I learned all those little tricks of little repairs for that. I can change the U pipe on a sink. I can fix that. I have not changed a light switch in a long, long time, but the kitchen porch light switch broke. So I need to replace that one. The problem is that I have no idea which circuit that is. So I'll just wait till a nice sunny day and flip the power for the whole house and do it that way. Because eventually I would love to go back to having push button. There's still 2 left. There's still 2 push button light switches left in the house. They are for the 3rd floor light. There's one just outside the attic door, and then there's one at the bottom of the steps just outside my brother's room. And those are push button light switches for that 3rd floor light for the hallway up there. When I was growing up, everywhere had push button light switches. And as they died, it was more money, not significantly more, but it was more money to get a push button, and harder to find then, than it was to just get, a flip switch. So over time, Dad replaced them all with that. But, and I can remember them having that little mother of pearl dot on them too. I would love to have them back. It's funny too, is they make a click. Those would make a noise when you push them in and out. You could hear when somebody turned on it. I'm not willing to mess with too much that's electrical, because if you screw it up, you burn your house down. So I will leave that one to a pro, but I'm willing to try tackling an awful lot of stuff. But when the spine got injured, everything stopped. But I can do this now. Yay! I can do this. I can do this. And I can do this. So we gotta work. I gotta keep working on getting that twist around to the right, but I'll get there. Let's see. Let's do the small stuff first. I have 3 little jewelry things. One is just a goofy, just brought it along just for fun. It is a necklace made of buttons. And I don't know if my mother used to have an entire boxes of buttons like this. So I think she had donated them to the ladies at the church and they made these. But it's a long necklace and it's all just flat buttons. Now they're not mother of pearl, they're all plastic, but then they've got this little bead over top, a little gold bead. It's really kind of different. Now I have one in black that I kept, and that has little silver beads. So I kept the one in black. They're the same kind of buttons. They're black buttons. But I thought it'd be fun to offer you guys this one. It is, I had to steal my tape measure back from the kittens. So, oh yeah, Robin, I can understand that. So it measures 15 inches that way. So that makes it what, a 30-inch necklace? And it's all one piece. There's no clasp. It goes, because it's big enough, it goes right over your head. And before you think 30 is all that long, this is where it comes to. And honestly, I did not make too many prices up, so most things are going to be an offer up. So I'm going to start this one as an offer up for $2. Just $2. Let me type that in. Where's my... Come on here. There we go. We're going to start it at 2. Just because it's a cool craft show item if you could figure out how they did that, because look, it lays pretty flat. And I'm not taking a good hard look to figure out how they've finished it to make it lay like that, to lay nice and flat. But these are like an off-white cream color with gold, little gold beads. And there's a spot here where you can see, like, you could just kind of see a little bit of the thread underneath. That knot is nice and close up. But it's a cute piece. I think my mom always liked it because she was a sewer. You know, she was a seamstress. So having a necklace of buttons was kind of fun. So I thought, if you know somebody that's a crafty person and want to give them a quirky little surprise, a little surprise gift, you could give them that. So the button necklace is just $2. And we can pass on that one. Now, the other two things are something really cool. Remember in the 80s and 90s how little porcelain faces were all the rage for pins? Isn't that cool? I've had this forever. Now, there's no maker on this, but it's porcelain. And it's got this gorgeous butterfly on the one side of the face. Now there is a little bit of light blue to do the eyes, but it is a porcelain piece, really beautifully done. And this one, I forget what they were. Last time I looked it up on eBay was years ago, so I don't know what they tend to run for. So we'll put that as 4 because I know a lot of the pins from the 80s and 90s, it's crazy. Remember the little clip teddy bears and koala bears? Those things are going for like $15 to $20. It's crazy. So this is just a hair over an inch and a half long. And the wide spot is an inch and like an inch and an eighth wide. There are no chips. There's those scratches. All that gold that's on there has no wear to it. It looks really good. It's in great condition. And I got it at some point. I know I was in college, so it was after 1984, because that's when I graduated high school, for that wonderful little mask pin. It'd be kind of cool to have that like in a dollhouse or something hanging on the wall. It's like an art piece. It is really cute. But I have other pins I want to wear, so. All right. Now, the other pin is an Easter basket. So we're going to put pass on that. I should just hit cap lock. It would be worth it. Now, this one is going to start at 5. So that's only $1 more than what I paid for. We're going to start this at 5. That is adorable, isn't it? I wish this would focus better so you could really see the details. See if that worked. But it's got these wonderful little eggs. Let me take it off of there and see. I had picked this up at a sale, but I didn't look to see if there's a maker's mark. I don't see one, but the back is really nicely done. And it has the clasp that the catch goes around. But it's a wonderful little Easter basket full of little colorful eggs. It's a really nice shade of gold, too. It's in wonderful condition. It is an inch and... Okay, so it's an inch and a quarter long. Let's stop and figure out what that was. And it's not quite... It's a little more, just a hair more than 3/4 of an inch wide. But it's absolutely adorable. Nope, this way. It's such a cute little thing. Absolutely adorable. And Easter comes Sunday? Next Sunday? I hadn't found this at the time, so I didn't get a chance to have this at the sale I had when I had the St. Patrick's Day and Easter stuff. I thought I had my jeweler's loop, but I don't see it because just wanted to double check one more time for any kind of markings on the back, but don't see any. But I love that little coral color and turquoise blue and the white, pearlized white that they have for the eggs. It's just absolutely adorable. Oh, Jesus, not 45. Whoops. It's supposed to start at 5. I am so sorry. That should not say 45. I'm so sorry. That shouldn't, it's not like it's got a gold marking on it. It said 22 karat or something, maybe, but doesn't have any markings for that. So yeah, that should say start at 5. Sorry about that. I forgot with the cap lock on. That didn't mean that it was going to automatically do the number sign. But it's just so cute. But you know what's funny is look, the colors kind of match my sweater. It's the same shade of blue. So if no one wants that one, we can pass on the pin. Have a little more of my Wawa iced coffee. Gary came down the steps and he said, "You having a sale tonight?" I'm like, yeah. He goes, "All right." Next thing I know, he leaves the house. He comes back with a coffee for me. It was nice of him. So this one is a set price. This is an old game. It's from 1960. It's called Hi Ho Cheerio. You can see the kids play it, and I'll show you how they play it. I have to laugh because like those sticks are not that long for what's in there. It comes with little pails, the spinner, the playing board, and a bunch of plastic cherries. And it is from Whitman. Now this is the board, and your objective is to, I believe, is to get all of your trees full, or is your basket full? Each player puts 10 cherries on their own tree. And the spinner tells you how many cherries you can take off of your tree and put them in your pail. Then a robin or a barking dog means that you got to take cherries from your pail and put them back onto your tree. A spilled pail means you lose all of your cherries. And the game ends when somebody calls hi ho cheerio, which would be when your tree is empty. Well, they give you plenty of little cherries in here. No, let me sit you back over there so you don't knock the hat over. But these are the little cherries. Now, all the little cherries have this funny little hook. Now, it doesn't say that you had to use like a hook to pick them up. And some of them, the hook, it's not hooked over. There's a couple that are straight. So you've got plenty of cherries in there. I don't want to spill them, but there's plenty of cherries in there to play the game with. There's more than enough than what you need for on the trees. So I just thought it was a fun little game, and it has everything to it. The game itself, the cherries, the spinner, the come on. When you go to put it away, you got to wiggle the cherries out from under the edges of the board part so that it slides back in there. Oh shoot, there's my meds. I should take them. But this is all in excellent shape. The only thing that has an issue is the outside lid. There's a spot right here, and there's a little wear along the edges. Where is it? There. Is that it? I thought there was another spot. That's just the artwork. Well, there's a piece of tape there, and there's a piece of tape on this corner. And then there's wear across the bottom here, but it's missing a little bit of the paper there. But Hi Ho Cherry O. It's copyright 1960, made by Whitman. And it's all there. And it's $8 for the game. $8, number 55. $8, number 55 for Hi Ho Cherry O. Now where can I sit you? I can sit you up here. I can sit you up there. There we go. That was number 55. Should we do a piece of Wedgwood? Look what I got. Dun, dun, dun. Now there are other Wedgwood pieces I have. I have these on commission, and some of them will be going up in the eBay store. I'm not going to say this weekend, because this weekend is so far the only time, because next week is spring break. So the only kids that will be coming to Scouts that week are the ones who are still in the area and who need help with advancement. So it won't be as chaotic. So I plan on spending more time working on Tosh than I have been on Scouts. And since I don't have to deal with Roofer, and anyway, it's going to rain Saturday, so I'll have to deal with Leak. I just want to pack all weekend. I now have, Warren, your package is still here, but I've got 3 paid for to go out. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 to get you guys invoiced. Those 5 are packed but not weighed. Those 5 have the stuff sitting in boxes that it'll all fit in, but they all have to be packed properly and then weighed. So get this ball going here. Now this has a marking, but it's faint. It's not, you're never going to see it, because I had a heck of a time seeing it. You can just kind of see an indent there, and then there's little numbers and letters around the edge here. So what this has is, at one spot it says a JR, and then shoot, I can't see it now with my glasses. I will be getting new glasses next month too. Yay! I think this had a 70 on it, which would make it 1970. But it is a wonderful little piece of Wedgwood Jasperware in the green. And this will be an offer up, and I'm going to put that in. Hello, Retro Ruby. I forgot cap lock was on. Now, I did look these up, but for you guys, we're going to start there. So it would be $18. It's in wonderful shape. Now, I'm not sure of my mythology to know what all the images are, because that one looks like a woman with a chariot. The only ones I usually see with a chariot would be Apollo. And then you have, that one has angel wings, the one that's on the ground there. And then this one has what looks like a little Cupid standing here, because that's a little kid with little tiny wings. And then, but it has this wonderful creamy. Can you see how it's raised up? And it's just beautiful. It's a gorgeous little thing. Where's my measuring? I don't know who knocked over what up there, but Michael's not happy. Some kitty cat's in trouble. So it's 5 inches high. And the base is just a hair under 3 inches wide. And nothing's going to knock this over easily because it's got a lot of weight to the bottom. But it is meant to be a bud vase. It has a very narrow opening. This would be gorgeous with just a single rose or a single flower out of it. But it is marked on the bottom faintly, but it is there. This came from a reliable source and a reliable collection of Jasperware. But there's not a scratch or a mark on it. It is in fantastic condition. And we're going to start that at 18, which is definitely below what it's going to be if this goes into my eBay store. Now, let's see. Is there anyone who's interested in that? I have to finish looking through the box of this that I was given because I found a tiny little pitcher. And here in the research I did, that pitcher may actually have it's meant to be a single serving creamer and sugar. And I have to see if the sugar bowl is in the box. But this is a great bud vase. I've always liked this stuff, but I really like and my camera on the phone, as good as it is, isn't good enough to catch the amazing detail of like the filigree work. I mean, you just kind of see a white blob, but the detail on these is just stunning. I mean, you can see like her veil, you can't see every single line of the curves of the veil. It's just amazing, the detail. And my camera cannot do it justice. But it is a lovely little piece. And tuck that note back in. Because I had to use my phone to enlarge the picture to be able to read what was on the bottom. So, no one wants that one. We can pass on that one. And let's see, what do we want to do next? Okay. I don't know if this actually grinds. It has an opening, and then it has a little drawer. But well, you can feel, if you stick your finger in there, you can feel something turning. I can't see in there to tell. So I don't know if it actually would grind something or not. I can't imagine it really does, in spite of the fact that you can feel it. But it's cute little coffee grinder, like the old school little machines. But the nice part is that you can hide something in there, you know, like the extra house key, the key to the back door. You know, you could have a little hidey spot in your kitchen. But it's just this cool little coffee grinder. I don't know whatever happened to my ruler. It was easier to handle than this giant tape measure. So this stands 6 inches tall. And let's see, that wheel sticks out a bit, and so does the handle. So it's 5 inches wide from here to here. But I mean, it does act like it's grinding because that does go around. And then when the door is open, there is something in there turning, but I can't imagine it actually does grind a coffee bean or not. But it's a cute little thing to decorate your kitchen with, especially if you like coffee. So it is a mini coffee grinder. And it is, I need a number. It's $5. It's $5, number 83 for the mini coffee grinder. $5, number 83. I would use it just to like hide an extra key of something. Either the extra key for the back door or, but it's a cute little thing. I'm not a coffee drinker though, so wouldn't quite fit in my kitchen, especially as we want to do it Doctor Who themed. So now, what else have we got here? We have, what do I want to do next? We have this. Now, those of you that did see the sale in February saw this, and where is it? This is the Beatrix Potter planter. Now, this is lovely. I mean, the images on this are fantastic. And there's no chips. It's never been used as a planter. The inside is nice and clean. But this was made in 1997 for Teleflora because I think that was the anniversary. I think that was an anniversary of Beatrix Potter. So we have the, whoops, if I spell right, Peter Rabbit planter. And that's at $10. But it pretty much has Peter's story. I mean, you have him here sneaking in to Mr. McGregor's, was it Farmer McGregor? Been a long time since I've read it. And there he is stuffing his face with the carrots. And then you get around here and he's knocking over flower pots because he's running away. So it's got the whole thing on there of what he's doing. And it has the little figurine on the side. And it is a really nice, great thing you could have for Easter. I mean, you could put one of those feather trees. Honestly, if you could find like a pink or a light blue or even a yellow, one of those little bottle brush trees, you could put one of them in here as a spring or Easter decoration. And this is 5 inches high and it's 6 inches at the bottom, but this sticks out a little bit. So it's probably 6 1/4 wide at the top from him to this edge. And honestly, I mean, you could stuff anything in there. If you wanted it to decorate for a kid's room, you could have, tissues in there or a thing of handy wipes or anything you need for baby's room. Thank you, Robin. It really would be cute. When Michael was little, we had a couple of Beatrix Potter things, but we also had Thomas the Tank Engine, and then he really, really loved Big Comfy Couch. He still has his Molly doll tucked away for if he ever has kids. He wanted to save that. That was one of the few things he saved. and he saved all his Thomas the Tank toys. But it is a wonderful little thing. It's absolutely adorable. It's just not going to go with the decor that I eventually want in my house because I was never that big into Peter Rabbit. Now, if this had been the little red squirrel, which was what, Squirrel Nutkin? Or the hedgehog, Mrs. Tiggywinkle. Those were my two favorites. I never read all of the books. I had a few that were hand-me-downs from my mother, and I vaguely remember the red squirrel one because I think that one fell apart. Because after all, my mother was born in 1929, so they were pretty old before they ever got to me. And then, hello, Bonnie. But Mrs. Tiggywinkle, I should still have somewhere, and it's held together with a ribbon because it's fallen apart. And I think Flopsy, Mopsy, and somebody about, with kittens. Somewhere that one might be around. I know I read that one to pieces too. So we have, it's an offer up, and we have Robin at 10. And I know they had an anniversary, but I don't know what year because I sold this at the last sale. So in 1993 would have been the 100th anniversary of Peter Rabbit, and this was 1997, so it wasn't long after that. But it is absolutely adorable. So we have Robin in for 10. And anyone else wants to come in higher than that, they can. But I'm going to start giving it a call. So we're going to have going once. And give that a second. We're looking for 11 or higher. Anybody wants to challenge her for it? Going twice. The bunnies are absolutely adorable. I like that it has the 3 images that basically, you know the story, it covers the whole story by having those specific 3 images. So I'm not going to watch, but I'm going to put in the sold. Some point here to try to make it fair. Boom. There we go. Oh, wow, the lag disappeared. That was pretty quick. There we go. So, sold, Robin, congratulations. That's wonderful. Now, Robin, I don't know that I have your info. So my email is right there. It's the usual stuff. I need your name, your address, the email you use for PayPal, because that's how I invoice. I use Pirate Ship to ship to try to keep shipping low. So I need all of that emailed to me. I tried to archive everybody, but I found out the hard way that if it's been a while, the archived emails are not always still there. So I am so glad that has found a home. It is so cute, but there's very few really cutesy cute things I'm into. I'm just too much of a tomboy. So we will carefully put him over there. Now, let's do this one. This one had some kind of sticker on the bottom at some point, but I don't know. This is a nice, tall, off-white vase with a gold rim. Now, there is a little spot. That's not a chip. That's a little spot where the gold glazing didn't quite cover. It's quite tall. So I'm thinking this was probably a nice thing for a bouquet. It is 9 inches tall and 3¼ inches wide, and it does have, now it's wider at the top. It does have that kind of squarish shape. So does the bottom. But it has all these dimensional flowers all the way around that. And you can see they come up pretty high, but they go all the way to the bottom. So it is a nice vase. I just have too many vases. I like the flowers because some of them, they kind of look like tulips. Other ones look like daylilies. So they're nice summery flowers. But this isn't a favorite for me, so I'd rather share the pretty vase. And it is, oh, all right, doctor, I hear you. So the white vase is $6 and it's number 52. $6, number 52. And remember, it is 9 inches tall, so it is a good tall one. Great for those things that have really long stems. And if you have, here's a trick. If you have stuff that doesn't have really long stems and you need to have it come up, you can either get floral styrofoam and push it some piece down in there, or just fill up the bottom with either a chunk of styrofoam, and if it's a couple of stems, it'll hold it down, or you could put marbles in the bottom to have it come up some, and that way you can have it like filled up to here with marbles for the shorter stem. So that is $6, number 52. Tuck you right back there. I'll be right back because the doctor's clawing at the window. She wants to come in. Oh, my hip. My hip is not a happy hip. I hear you, Doc. I hear you. the basement. Why aren't you upstairs sleeping with Daddy? Why aren't you up there sleeping with your daddy? You don't need to be following me. No, you don't. No, you don't. What did I just tell you? You don't need to follow me. You're going to do it anyway, aren't you? You're going to follow me anyway. Well, now you're between me and my chair. Come on, Elrond. Jesus, he almost got stepped on. Come on, move it on over. No, what are you doing? What? Oh, you're taking my seat. Well, come here then. Hang on, I gotcha. I gotcha. Huh? You knew I went and called her in, and then you come running down the steps. Had a little altercation there. Doc just wanted her dry food, and then she'll go to bed. You do not need to be bothering her. No. This is Elrond. This is my spoiled boy. Nope. Nope. No. Flip over. Yeah. There you go. Because this way I can rub under your chin. Oh, now I get the purrs. So he's the one oddball of the litter. 2 black cats, 2 gray cats, and then him. And they all probably had different fathers. But we know there was a Siamese running around the neighborhood. And I know about that one. That one did finally get rescued and has a home. He had been in a home that had been foreclosed on. And the people who found Morgan and rescued the kittens and got them to me, they managed to get, he was telling me about how the cat was still in the house. And he basically broke open a kitchen window, got it wedged open enough that the cat came out, and they started feeding it, but it still was outside for 2 months, and that was long enough. So he is the small one. He was not the runt of the litter. The first kitten I got the kitten by itself, and it was very small, and I bottle fed that one for 4 days. In the course of the other 4 days, though, I got all the kittens and the mother, and so she was able to nurse them, but Frodo was so undersized. Now he's long and lanky and skinny, but he's long and long-legged, all black cat. Gimli is built like a dwarf, so he's very well named. He is very muscular, plays hard, runs hard, jumps hard. He's something. Definitely the muscle man of the group and the leader of the pack of 5. The twins are Elrond and Arwen. They look like Shadow, who I have not seen in a year now. They have fur exactly like his, same color, same golden eyes, and the fur, especially on her, it's really like stuffed toy soft, but on her, it's like Shadow's was. It feels like silk. It is so incredibly soft. And then came Elrond, who's all that creamy color with the pointy face and coloring of a Siamese. So we had 8 adoptions fall through. So I now have 6 cats in the house. I have the 5 kittens, the gang of 5, who come April 1st will be 2 years old, because that's roughly where I figured when they were born. It was close enough. But, I mean, with 8 adoptions falling through, and one of them, the parents loved Frodo. The kids loved Frodo. The grandmother saw a black cat and freaked out, so Frodo stayed. So after this after this amount of time of having them, they're family now. So Snowball is still outside. Charlie is still outside. I'm still trying to get the trapper for Forgotten Cats to come get Charlie so he can get looked at. So I didn't see any takers for the tall vase. Thank you, Lynn. See, I have your email. Thank you very much. And blessing of blessings, no scout emails at the moment. So I'll get them soon enough because our troop has a closed Facebook group. And so I put out the notice. Our website for the troop is having issues. So I put all the stuff up for merit badges up on Facebook tonight. So over the weekend, I will probably get emails with what their choices for summer camp merit badges are. Because that all has to come through me. It all has to get approved by me. Because you have to have the buddy system at camp, I've got to make sure every kid is paired up with somebody else from the troop that's also taking that merit badge. And I have to have all this done by April 6th when it all has to get logged in at the camp we're going to. So I figure this is my last weekend of some sanity. Now I have this darling little thing, and it is a vintage Easter hat. Now, I absolutely think it's the cutest thing. I'm trying to get this ribbon off of it because I forgot to take it off. It was at a church sale last fall, and red ribbons were one price. And now it does still have a hat pin with it, a sizable, very pretty hat pin with it. But this is the hat. It is absolutely adorable. It still has its netting. Now, its netting you have to be careful with because there is a little bit of a rip right there. So this would go, because didn't you always have the netting in the front? Wasn't the netting always supposed to be in the front? So you have this great little hat. It's just a little thing. Look, it's just a little thing. And all these wonderful flowers are velvet flowers. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And I did not find, that's the back of a flower. I did not find a maker's label anywhere on it under there. And I suspect the veiling, I don't know if it had been a replacement or not, but like you can see the hole right there. That's the one spot where that's got an issue. But the flowers are all in fabulous shape. The hat itself is in good shape. So that's just adorable. And it does come with its own nice hat pin to keep it on your head. I am very tempted, if this does not sell, to possibly donate it to the local Gilbert and Sullivan group that I used to sing with, because finding hats that could pass for Victorian era hats is a challenge. And some 1940s hats will pass. And this is one of them because it is just this little size. And they would not always have had a veil, but they would have worn it. They would have worn it on the side. And that one is passable for that period, for the late period. And it does have the wonderful little leaves. They have a little wire in them. But it is a wonderful little vintage hat. I just love the little purple. They're made to look like purple pansies, and I love pansies. But they are all velvet. They're just absolutely adorable. So I'm going to sit that down so I can. I think I will just do that as a set price for the vintage hat. And so for the wonderful vintage hat for you guys, it is $10, number 20. $10, number 20. I had been thinking of sticking it up on eBay, and I was like, you know, it's so cute, and Easter is around the corner, and if you decorate for Easter or for spring, it's just such a neat little thing to have, and you could, honestly, you could just put your little chicks around it, but it's $10, number 20, for the wonderful little hat. Now, who else do we have? Yes, you didn't want to stay up here. Why are you back? Give me that. No, no. Give me that ribbon. I dropped the ribbon on the floor and he's trying to eat it because he's a twit. Give me the ribbon. Give it back. Give it back. Can't have that. Oh my goodness. Now, we need a number for this one. So this is a little candle holder, and it looks like almost like a little goblet. You put your paw on it. Why did you put your... It now has a cat footprint on it. Get that off of there. But it has this really nice... Let's see if I can do it this way so you can see it. So it's got this really nice thing of roses on the front. And it is just the right size. You can either... you can put... one of the smaller, narrower votives can fit down there, or a tea light, or you could just make this a really fancy shot glass, because, you know, it kind of is that size. So, you know, if you're going to have a shot of something, no one says it can't be fun. So, so the whole thing is 6 inches high. And then this opening at the top is 2 inches wide, but it tapers in right there. And it really is a cute little thing. When I got it, it had a little tea light down in the bottom. But it is really cute. And I thought I would offer that up. It is $5 for the floral candle holder. It's $5, number 53. $5, number 53. And stay. What was that? Oh, the Easter egg basket pin. Yeah, that was started at 5, so I can do that for 5. Okay. I will add that to you, to yours. Now, there's another itty bitty thing, and then we're going to do one of the pieces of glass, because I have 2 vintage things of glass that, try as I might, I could not. Oh, thank you so much. Bless you, Bonnie. Every time I have gotten a buy me a coffee or a little super chat or sticker, I have been tucking that away. At first, it was helped with the kittens and getting them their shots and everything. But since then, I've been doing tucking it away for the roof, so that we had a little wiggle room. So, oh my goodness, that's my 3rd super on a live stream. That's only the 3rd one I've ever had. It's awesome. Thank you. Those are so fun to see. Nurse Flipper is right. Those are fun to see. I wish I knew how she does it. She has a little video she plays of a dolphin that's basically, it's a clip of Flipper, the dolphin making funny dolphin noises. And I don't know how she does it to like have that automatically play in her feed, because otherwise I would have a thing of the cats meowing just for fun. So thank you so much. So, I have this little floral thing. It is a little boot. Now, at first, I thought maybe it was a Lefton, but it's not. I'm not finding any numbers, and the colors, like the colors are not quite right for Lefton. So I think it's probably just a little made in China thing at some point, or made in Korea. The leaves are plastic, but the flowers are porcelain. And it's got, I like the little lacings up the side of the boot. So this side's kind of plain, and then that would be the front view. But it's such a cute view, and it's really nice if you have a little curio shelf. I know you miss your Snoopy. It's so hard to lose our little fuzz bunnies, you know, our little fluffy bunny babies, whether a cat, a dog, a bunny, a lizard, you know, they're our family. So, yeah, I think it could be not high-end Compotimento, but definitely that style. It is a bisque finish. It's 3.5 inches tall. And so if you have a little like curio shelf, this would be, there's always, you know, in those curio shelves, there's always one little square or like a printer's box thing that's kind of tall. And so that one would be a good one to fit in there. So the little shoe, because the flowers are in good shape. There's no, because often there's like pieces missing and they seem chipped. But these do not seem to have that. The only one I'm not 100% sure of is that one looks like it is, but when you look up close, it doesn't. It looks like this is a really thin porcelain, like flower petal made to look like a lily. It doesn't look like it's a break anywhere because of the coloring. The coloring's all over the edges, so I think that is the way it was, but I'm not finding any breaks anywhere. So the shoe is $4, and it's number 56. $4, number 56. Now we're gonna, I don't want to accidentally knock it. We'll lay it down right there because I want to show you this glass. I don't know. Look at the size of this thing. I don't know who made it. It is wonderful white milk glass, but the bottom is smooth. There's no sign of any maker's mark. You can just kind of see that this was probably blown into a mold, because there's like a little circular spot there, but there is a faint line. I don't know if you'll be able to catch it. Oh, maybe there. Do you kind of see that shadow right there? There's a line on that side and an even harder one to spot. You can just kind of see it to here. An even harder one to see there. So I think this was blown into a mold because the handle is definitely applied on afterwards. So it's made by somebody, but I couldn't identify who because I couldn't find it. You see, it has the grapes pattern around. It's beautiful. I mean, you see the light come right through the glass. It's beautiful. And then you can see the handle has this nice little imprint, and it's hard to tell from there, but you can really tell from the inside. You can see the seam there where that handle was applied hot. So, but it is a nice sizable piece too, and it's really, really pretty, but not my style. And my tape gun just tried to eat my tape measure. So the wider part of the fluting is 6 inches wide, but then the height of this thing is 9 inches. So it's 6 inches wide this way and 9 inches tall. But as you can see, it's not as wide this way. It's made to have, it makes that little kind of an oval because it's pulled in here and here. But there's nothing wrong with it. And I can hold it up to the light and see, and there's not an air bubble. What is that? I'm not finding any air bubbles. And there's even a little ridge pattern to look like a basket weave that goes there. And though it's harder to see, it also goes under the rim right here. But it is a phenomenal piece. But I just don't know who made it. I don't know if it could be Westmoreland or anybody else. I don't know my glass that well. And I had a bugger of a time. I could find a couple different places that made grapevine, but I didn't find this particular piece to be able to properly identify it. But I do know that let me just write white grapes basket. And because I couldn't ID it, what I usually do is I was thinking Westmoreland, but I didn't find any mark on it for that. I'm gonna, well, if I'm gonna put it on eBay, if it doesn't sell here for that, then for you guys, it would have to be, we're gonna start it there. Okay, so we're gonna start this. And I know if it is Westmoreland, this is way too low. But that's the whole point. I give you guys a break on what I give you guys a significant break over what I would put it online as. But I mean, if it were anybody cheap, it wouldn't have these little marks where they've actually made, it try to look like a basket. And they probably wouldn't go to the trouble of sealing up. I mean, I'm really impressed at how well these handles are. Now, one of the other reasons I know it's an applied handle is you see how thick this end piece of glass is, but then when you flip it over and see this one, this is more rounded and smooth. So what that tells me is that this end was made first, but this end they actually had to cut the piece off, which would have left a thicker piece. See, I've learned from watching Foo, I'm blanking on her name. She does sales with Trisha sometimes. Becky? Is her name Becky? And she's a Lefton collector, and she really knows her glass, and she has some phenomenal stuff. And she's actually taking you to Lefton. Becky Viking. I have learned from her because she's actually taking you videos to the shows for the collectors where they barter and sell back and forth. And I learned from watching her that if you have a thicker side like that, it's because they would be one long tube of glass and they'd shape the first end. But because this side would have had to be cut off and then shaped, it's usually thicker. So I learned that from watching Becky. but it really is beautiful. I do like the play of light, that when light comes through it, you can see right through it. But I don't have anything backlighting me for me to be able to get light through it for you to see just how much you can get light through the glass. It is not real thick. It is definitely milk glass. And I see Robin in for 8. You're right. I shouldn't pick it up by the handle, should I? So, and I wondered, yeah, no. Sometimes you can look through and see a marking, but I mean, it is perfectly smooth down there. So, yeah, there's no, even looking at it this way, trying to look at the light, there's no marking. Oh, she'll be on Trisha on Saturday night. Oh, good. Maybe I can watch that and learn more. So I have Robin in at 8. Does anyone want to come in for 9 or higher? I mean, that is a steal for such a lovely piece of glass. I don't find much really cool looking nice glass around here. I try, because that seems to be the one thing I didn't inherit. I've inherited quite an eclectic mix from the 3 estates, but not really much in the way of glass. So this was just really cool to find. I mean, that's the few times I buy stuff to bring to you, is if I find something really unusual or I find glass. So we just have Robin at 8. So I can start putting in the call. She's going to get the deal of the night here. So we have going once. Current price is 8. That is lovely, though. You have a similar one from who? Kanawa. I've never heard of that one. I know, that's a steal of a deal at 8. Carefully sit that back so that I don't knock it over while I'm typing. So we had going once, going twice. What did I do with, oh, there it is. I only have one cough drop down here with me. Got to make that last for the whole night so my voice doesn't go out. And I'm going to put the sold in. That should send it in. And it's sold. Congratulations, Robin. You definitely have the deal of the night. What do I want to do next? All right, we have this little guy. I haven't even looked him up yet. I don't even know what I know he's from Star Wars, and he's official. He's got his little tag and all that. I don't know if he was in one of those promo box things, but he's got a huge head. But Mike said he didn't care. He wanted to pass it on. So, we have this wonderful stormtrooper. Yep, he is a stormtrooper. And does it have a date? StarWars.com, Lucasfilm Limited. Made in Vietnam. Permanent numbers, and then something in French. I failed French. Oh, he's from 2017. So he's from 2017. He's in very good shape. Still has the original tags, because a lot of times if you find these in, is he a tie beanie? Because he doesn't say tie on him anywhere. And I've seen some of the tie ones that are smaller, but they say tie on the tag. They say Ty and Lucas. This one does not have Ty. And there are these boxes you can get. I forget what they call them. But it's like a monthly subscription, or you can just buy 1 month and it'll have a different theme. And you can get them for anime. You can get them for science fiction. They have a specific term, and I haven't looked it up in so long. Because at one point I looked up trying to get a Pokemon one for Mike a long time ago. And they'll have things like this in them. Oh, why am I drawing a blank on what they're called? The main company that does them. I can't think what it is. But he is from 2017, and he is the Stormtrooper. And we are going to Stormtrooper. He's going to be $10 and number 84. $10, number 84 for the 2017 Stormtrooper. Mike said I should put the money for him towards either the cats or the roof. I'll sit him back here. Put your little number on your forehead. Stay. Now I have some other little things, and I have another piece of glass. I need more numbers. Okay, I have a copy of this book already. And so when I got this one from a clean out, this one is from 1989. It's a first edition. So it is exactly the same book I had from back then. But this one looks like it's never even been read. There's not even a crease on here, nothing. 50 Simple Things You Can Do to Save the Earth. It is a first edition from 1989. It was written by the Earthworks group at Berkeley, California. And this book gives you all these little different things that in the 89 they were saying, could start to make a difference. Like if we all recycled just the Sunday papers, we could save over 500,000 trees every week. Now keep in mind, in 89, the Sunday paper could often be that thick. Not so much anymore. But there are still things like low flow shower heads, or the shower heads that have a lever that you can actually get wet, flip the lever, which temporarily turns off the water from the shower head, but not from the spigot. So your water maintains temperature. And it's all kinds of stuff like that. Don't trash your aluminum. I haven't trashed my aluminum in years, because as a kid even, we used to take scrap metal, and you separated the scrap metal from the aluminum metal, and you got different prices, and you made more money off aluminum. We still do that. We still save all. I wash them out, even the cat cans that are aluminum. I wash them out, and so that they're clean. And when they're dry, they go into a clear plastic trash bag, because that's what the junkyard wants them in, so that they can see that nobody's cheating and putting something heavier in there. And then that has to be separate from scrap metal. And in 9 Lives, I know those cans are steel, so I throw them into the recycling for the city to take. But yeah, I remember we used to get deposits on the bottles. And I remember with my brother Gary, we used to save up the newspapers. And I can remember being a little kid with him, taking our little Sears wooden wagon and going around the block on trash night and getting everybody's bundles of newspapers. And we would take them, and we had a corner in the basement. And when Gary had enough to fill a car, he would fill up his car, and I'd go with him. And I started doing that when I was only like 6 or 7 years old. And I would get a cut of the money. I mean, we never had an allowance. If you wanted money, you had to earn your money. And then we stopped doing that. No, Warren, I didn't sell the Stormtrooper. The Stormtrooper was $10 and number 84. So we only stopped doing that. Gary only stopped doing that with the newspapers when they started collecting them as the cities used to start collecting them. So we had done that for years, but I still do it with aluminum. And I actually have to, now that my back's been feeling better, Mike has to help me. And we've had a tough time coordinating a day. Okay, thank you, Warren. Because the guy who rehabbed the house next door here, he gave me a bunch of scrap metal and just put it over the fence for me because he didn't want to bother with it, and he knew he couldn't put it out in regular trash. So there's pieces of copper pipe, there's some old metal tools that he found that are all rusty that he found out in the shed in the back, and so he just gave them to me, but then I haven't been able to take them because I couldn't lift it. It's in one of these 10-gallon buckets. I can't lift the thing up. So Mike and I he has some time off coming up. And that's one of the things we're going to do. We're going to clear all that stuff out. We've got some old metal things in the basement. We're going to get rid of all the scrap, take it to the junkyard and clear it all out, which will be good because it's more stuff out of here. And the income just goes right into that account for back into the house. So yeah, we've done that all the time. So some of these, quite a few of these, actually looking through it, most of these are still just as relevant today as they were when the book was printed. So, but the book is $3 and it's $3, number 59, for the 50 simple things you can do to save the earth for the first edition. $3, number 59. And Warren, I got you for the Stormtrooper. So we'll take his number off. We'll put that over there. Now. Okay. Yeah, there were certain things we were expected to, as a girl, I was expected to help run the vacuum, help gather the laundry up. I didn't have to do the dishes because I was too short. Being the youngest, certainly, with a 16-year age spread between oldest and youngest, I was supposed to help fold the laundry, but I couldn't carry most of it till I was old enough, and by then all of us weren't living here. Because the first one to get married got married when I was only 10, and right about that same time, Steve left to go work in California. And so that was 2 out of the house. Phyllis got married when I was only 13. So then that left just me, Gary, and Roy. So, but if you wanted any extra money for anything, you had to figure it out on your own. When I was in college, I always had spending money because I knew how to hem a pair of pants. So I would hem everybody's jeans for $5 for a pair of pants. And I always had money. They're like, how do you always have money to go up to the used bookstore and buy books or go buy Chinese food from the place on the weekends? And yeah, because you guys, like, word goes through the whole campus. You need your pants hemmed, go see her. So, so I always had, some kind of pocket money. So now I have some sealed decks of cards. And I see this one still has the little, come off of there. Now this one is made by Stardust, plastic coated with New View. I don't know what New View is. Made in the USA. It has a very cool Joker on it. So that's the Joker image. And it's got carousel horses on it. That orange and yellow just reminds me of the 1970s all over again. But it is a sealed deck. Really cool. And it is, let's see, this is the horses deck. So the sealed deck with the horses is just $3, number 65. Sealed deck of cards, brand new, vintage, old stock. $3, number 65. Now, the other set, however, the other set is newer. It is from 2006. And this set is definitely a very niche kind of thing, because I picked this one up because, yeah, it was made in 2006. They were made in China. They're in their own box. It says Faithful Friends, artwork by Robert J. May. But I bought it because it's a Schnauzer. It is a very specific dog. A long time ago, closer to when eBay had first started, one of the things that was inherited was a dog collection of figurines. And I found out very quickly, if you can name the breed, especially if you find French bulldogs, you can make money on eBay selling off anything dog. So I picked it up because it is a Schnauzer. And so if you guys don't want this one, I will gladly put this up on my eBay as an auction. But stuff with breeds definitely makes it a collectible. There are people who collect anything with their breed on it. So it is still sealed. They are brand new. It is the Schnauzer set. And this is $5 for the dog breed. It's number 72. I was never much of a cook because I still just struggle with having a sense of timing. My sense of timing for stuff on the stove is challenged. Let's just say it's challenged. I need to double check this real quick. Where's the N ampersand? How would I find it? I didn't look this one up, and I don't know. I don't really know what H&M stands for. I know I should know, but I have no clue because I've never been a fashionista kind of thing. So this is an H&M purse, but it looks like the biggest clutch you ever did see, because there's nothing in here that it ever would have had a strap, but it does have the H&M, trying to get it down in there, it does have the logo there, but it also has the little one in there that has um, all of the information on it. Now, I should have written it out because it's hard to see on those little tags. I had done it with my phone earlier, but I'm filming on my phone. But it's in nice shape, and this seems almost like it's raffia, but it's not as stiff as I would expect raffia to be. So I think it's a modern. The only thing that I found is that there's a little, you see there's a little stretch mark to the weaving right there. And that's the only thing I found wrong with it. I don't think this ever got used, and maybe it had been a gift to me because it drove all my friends bat crap crazy that I didn't carry a purse. I know my sister gave me at least 3 different purses over the years. Only one of them did I ever like because it would fit a paperback book. That was the criteria, that if I was going to carry a purse, not that it had my wallet in it, but that it could hold a comb, a handkerchief, and a paperback book. Because that's all my money was always in my pocket in a wallet. Too many years in retail. But it is nice. I mean, it's a large size clutch purse. So at that point, that size is what, 90s, 2000s to have one that size? And this is all like a red vinyl. I know it's showing up kind of I mean, I look at what's on my phone and it's showing up kind of fuchsia. And then I look at what's on my laptop and it's showing up an even lighter color that looks almost like a closer to orange. But this is red. Not Santa Claus red, but it's definitely red. And this just looks like a tatami mat, but it doesn't have that stiffness of like the straw or the raffia would be. So, but it is an H&M purse. I don't know much about any of the clothing lines or designers, so I don't even know how to tell if it's real. So you guys are getting a deal because it's $8 and it's number 66. $8, number 66. If you deal with that kind of stuff and want to take a chance on it and maybe resell it, do whatever you want. But $8, number 66 for the H&M purse. Because I'm out of my league. I am so out of my league with that one. If it were costume stuff, if it were 1950s back, I'd be fine. You get up past 1960s, maybe. After that, I haven't a clue. I used to do all my mother's costume research, so I know the past. I don't know modern past. I know way past. I'm out of my depth on that one. So what do we have left? We have the other piece of glass and another piece of Wedgwood. This is the most Hollywood Regency ashtray you are ever going to see. It is heavy too, because this is a solid chunk of metal. It has number 311. It also has little tiny bits of felt which have worn a little on the edge. So I would recommend putting new little dots so it doesn't scratch your table. That's the only mark, 311 on the bottom. And then this is thick glass. It is very thick glass. And it has this wonderful cut edge at the top that is beautiful. Now, it's cased glass because inside is all white, and you can just see how when they cut it, you can see how the inside is a layer of white glass. And then it's a layer of clear on the outside. But then they put all this layered gold, and then this is just like sponged on gold, but this is clear glass on the outside. And it has all this gold on it. But then on the top, though, you could see where they just cut it away and smoothed it and then put the indent. And to me, this kind of looks like that Hollywood Regency look. And there's one real faint, where'd it go? I just saw it in the light. Right here, there's a scratch that goes there to there. But you can't see it unless, where'd it go? Unless the light catches it, you can't see it. Yeah, there it is. Right there. It's just the one. And I can't feel it. But if the light catches it the right way, I can see it. So it's in great shape. And it doesn't look like it's ever really been used. There's some dust down in there, but there's no, like, from an ashtray, I would think there would be like smoke marks on the inside. Because this, I could stick my fingers way in there. You know, this cuts all the way, this hollow all the way out to the edges. But the glass is that thick. So that's part of the weight. So there's my tape measure. So I'm thinking this, because this was in stuff from my grandparents' house. And I don't remember them ever smoking, but they did used to sing in the gin joints during Prohibition. So they had some interesting stuff around. But this, I think, is more like the late 40s into the early 50s. So it's, what the heck is that noise? It better not be my heater. The heater's on, and honestly, I hear something that sounds like something sawing through wood. That's not a good noise. So it's 5 inches across, and it is 2 3/4 inches tall. So 5 inches across and 2 3/4 inches tall. But it is quite the decorative little piece. Now, whether you wanted to stick an air plant in there, which would be kind of cool, or wanted to use it to stick something else in, or just have it as a decoration, that's up to you. I think in a bathroom, it'd be kind of cool to have the cotton balls in there, and you could just pick out the one you need to use and have the rest down in there. I think that would be kind of fun in a bathroom. But this is really cool vintage piece, vintage ashtray that can be used for, so many other reasons. But it's very much kind of that Hollywood Regency thing. And I'm just going to make it $10. $10, number 82. $10, number 82. Hi, Steph. Steph, I have not forgotten you. I'm just having a little trouble with those wooden roses because they're very fragile. And every box I've tried that hasn't quite been long enough, and I don't want to bend the stems on you. Okay, so Steph wants this and number 10. Oh, because it said $10. Yeah, it's a $10 number. I got you, Steph. We gotcha. Now, let's do the other piece of Wedgwood. Now, this one is this one's gonna start think a little higher because this one, no, it would start at the same amount. So this is a Wedgwood Jasperware urn. No, that's not going to say 418. We're not going to make that mistake again. So this one's going to start at 18. And this is another Jasperware. Now the mark on the bottom of this one is much clearer, and you can see it down there. And it also has the 19. It has 73 for 1973, and it has a V, and the one I can't quite see. There's another set of initials somewhere over here. Now, one set of initials would be the artist, and then they only put the 2 numbers for the year. I'm not sure what the V stands for because I found the V also on that other piece and on one of the other pieces I found. So the V is something they were doing. But it is a wonderful, it's in there, what they called their miniature line. And so it's not very tall. They did a miniature line of some of these things. It is 3.5 inches tall, and it is 3 inches wide from point to point on the urn. And you have all these wonderful figures and trees going around it. I really do wish this camera would focus better. I just love these images. And it, of course, along the base here, it also has this wonderful raised floral garland around the bottom. But it is a stunning little piece. And these are not knockoffs. These are true Wedgwood. They were from a collector. And they are in fantastic, this is in fantastic condition. Not a chip, not a scuff mark, nothing. It's just fabulous. I love their trees because I love the filigree, you know, the depth that the trees get because they're such thin branches and leaves, and you can see the green coming in between all those little tiny slits, and they're just beautiful. Raised up little urn, and the start on this is 18. Because the prices I was finding for these all ran about $25. So for you guys, I thought I'd start at 18 for this wonderful little green Wedgwood. I do kind of like the sage green. I'm more partial to their blue. They make a light blue Jasperware, and I'm more partial to the blue than to the green. But that is 1973 Wedgwood green Jasperware miniature urn. And I'm going to start calling that one. That is just so cool. It took me a long while to get used to spelling the fact that Wedgwood doesn't have an E after, you know, in the word wedge. I had read a book that came out not that long ago, probably only 10 years ago, on Josiah Wedgwood. And it was pretty fascinating. I mean, he really was smart about getting his pottery going. He wanted only the finest craftsmen that he could get, and he figured out a way to have canals dug to get everything to him quicker than going over land routes. So he really kind of revolutionized the pottery industry by having those canals transfer things around, whether it was the clay to them or even the pots weren't always made near where the kilns were. And they had a special canal that literally went from one of the places where they made the stuff to the kilns, so that there wasn't a risk of if a kiln had a failure and the fire spread, it wouldn't spread to the pottery buildings. He had enough sense to keep them pretty separate. So, don't have anybody there, so we're gonna pass. So, Steph, how are you doing tonight? I heard you weren't feeling too good the last couple of times. So that was everything I had. So we'll do a quick run through. And make sure we got everything. No, I didn't do the doll. She's a music box doll, but she's for St. Patrick's Day. So I have to find a box and carefully pack her away for another year. Yeah, that was everything that I had, right? Yeah. Yeah, that was everything I had because I just didn't have that much. If you yeah, I can get the box. The box is at the other end. Let me go get the wooden flowers and show you. Hello, you. Whoops, that one's a short stem already. But these are the flowers. But the wood, these are literally wood, and it is super, super thin. So I've been trying, and they have, I mean, most of them, the stems are pretty long, and they're just wire covered with green floral tape. And I had, when I had first hurt my back, Mike moved a lot of stuff because I had to walk with the walker. And for the longest time, I didn't know where this box was. And because it said fragile here, he tucked it in the top of his closet with a couple other things that were. So, yeah, they have 10-inch long stems. Yeah, they are really long. And because my big worry is that anything else that goes in the box cannot be up near the head of these, because that is just really thin. Where's one that's this one? This is one that had come apart. So this was the one I used as the example. You see how thin? Wait, where's the camera? That way. You see how thin those are? They literally are just curved wood pieces. And it's built up. There's several, there's quite a few layers of those petals in there. And they're really cool. And I've never seen anything like them. But they're fragile. You got to be careful with those wooden ends. So that's why I was having trouble, because the one box I found was perfect, but these were just a little too long. They were giving me trouble. Yeah, I was trying not to have to bend them over, but I probably could if I just curl them a little bit to get around the one corner. Um, but I'll let you know now, though, I would not want to ship the ashtray with these because I would fear the weight of that with these guys. But I will cut you a deal on the shipping of the ashtray. Um, I would cover part of that cost, just because I don't want to see these get squashed. But I had these in the yellow. Oh, it's sitting over there. The yellow fishnet, and I thought that'd be fine because that's flat. But the problem was the length of that. So if you don't mind that they might be a little bent, I can do them that way then, because I want to get these out and done this weekend. See what I have left of these, because I have a whole box. And I think I sold you 10. So so I will get that taken care of because I'm finally like I have new medication for allergy, which is helping. It's still a 24-hour one, and it's not a prescription, so it's out of pocket. But I have to watch because some of these 24-hour ones have a certain chemical in them that give me a migraine, and so I had to go to the store and buy another one, and because I was out. And this time of year with the rain and it's leaf mold, and I'm outside and the boys in the woods, it just my sinuses just gave me grief the last 2 weeks. But it's a lot better now. I'm still sniffing in a little bit, as you guys could hear, and but it's not nearly as bad as it was the last 2 weeks. But we also had the last 2 weeks, I also had them in the preserve behind the building. We also had the creek clean up. So I was out in the middle of the woods, in damp woods. So I'm gonna not sit these there. I'm gonna sit them up there where I know they're safe and away from the kitties. I see something I forgot because I had this as the background in the picture. So I have a piece of, we'll do this and then we'll do a recap. This is vintage 1970s wrapping paper. Now this is a big sheet of it, 2 sides. Now this piece does have right here on the fold, there's a little slit that's about 1/2 inch wide. But if you want to do something with this, it's a nice weight because back then, you know, wrapping paper was a little thicker than it is now. I could take Claritin, but Claritin's expensive. So I usually have to try to get the knockoff Claritin. But it's bad enough that at night I still end up taking a Benadryl. So I do still have that book of bulletin boards. I haven't forgotten you, Warren. It's just that we're at crunch time for scouts for advancement because it's all got to be done in the next 2 weeks. And I like last week, well, yesterday, I only had 4 adults. That includes me. We were very short on Scoutmasters Wednesday night. It was a challenge. 30 kids, 4 adults. That was a rough night. And we were doing border reviews for some of the kids. So but I will get that photos to you about that one. There was one other one I was going to send you. Where was that? Yeah, there is. There's one other one that's sitting in the box in the kitchen that I was going through yesterday morning because I needed to get something. It was in the way, so I started going through it. So, Warren, expect an email If not tomorrow, then on Saturday morning with pictures so you can see what it is. But we have this cool, very cool 1970s paper. Now, I did find it says the Drawing Board Incorporated, Dallas, Texas. So it made me wonder that if this was not paper that they would sell to teachers to cover bulletin boards with, I don't know, but it's that or it's wrapping paper. So if you do junk journaling, this is a nice big piece to have some fun with. I like that hiding in here. Can you see the bee and the butterfly? Oh, there's a snail too. Look, there's the snail. There's the butterfly. Where's the bee? I've lost the bee. Where's the bee? Oh, there's a ladybug. I missed the ladybug. There's a little ladybug. Where'd the bee go? There's the bee. There's the bee. So there, when you look at it from far away, you don't see them right away. But yeah, there's even little critters hiding in there. Very 1970s. The piece is, because it's folded in half. So I don't think it's cut even. So let's go by this width. So 13 inches wide at the narrow end and 14 inches wide in the middle. But the length of it, you're looking at a piece that is, cooperate here. So you're looking at a 40-inch long sheet of paper once you open it up. This is 40 inches long. And this is, I need another number. So, flower power paper. This is $3. $3 for this big sheet of vintage paper, number 26. $3, number 26. Great piece of ephemera. Very 70s. I remember everything was orange and yellows and mustard yellow and that avocado green. Everything was that way in the 70s. So that was our last one, and we'll do our recap. And we'll go backwards. We starting with that one. And then we had the Wedgwood urn, which was an offer starting at $18. And then we will have, let me sit that up there. Steph took the ashtray. The H&M purse was $8 and was number 66. The Schnauzer cards were $5, still sealed, number 72. The vintage cards with the carousel horses that were Stardust Joker, they were $3 and were number 65. The 50 Simple Things You Can Do to Save the Earth, first edition. It was, where'd you go? I lost my spot already. $3, number 59 for that. Tuck you right in the cover there. And where were we? That was sold. That was sold. The little shoe. Where did I put the little shoe? There's the little shoe. So the little bisque shoe, this gorgeous little boot with the little flowers, this little bisque piece. This was $4 and was number 56 for the little bisque shoe. Sit you there. Then we have, oh, the floral candle holder, which holds a little tea light. It has this nice little roses thing on it. or as I jokingly said, the fanciest shot glass or aperitif glass you could ever have. The floral candle holder was 5 and was number 53. Then we had the wonderful vintage hat with its own hat pin. It has the velvet flowers of the little pansies, and it has its veil. The veil did have some damage right there, but if you it's right near the edge, so you would be able to stitch that back up to the edge and hide it, because that's where the tear is. It's right along the edge. So if you just stitch that up, and if you want, even I could do that and stitch that back on there. We used to do that with costume hats for Mom all the time. That one was $20, no, $10 for the hat number 20. $10 number 20. Then we had this really nice vase. I'm so glad I can twist this side, because now I can utilize the end of that table to hold stuff. And it's very tall. This is, I think we said 9 inches tall, but it has this wonderful relief going around it of all these flowers, and then has this gold around the top edge. It has some where there had been a sticker there, but it doesn't have an embossment of a maker's mark. But it's about 9 inches tall. Great little vase. It is $6, number 52. And then we have the coffee grinder. I don't believe it really does grind. It does have a little door to open, and you can see gears going around inside and gears going around at the top. But it's such a cute little thing. The drawer does come out. You can use the drawer to hide something little, to tuck it away. Steph wants the white vase. Thank you, Steph. So the coffee grinder, this cute little decorative coffee grinder, was $5 and number 83 for the little coffee grinder. Then we had this Jasperware vase for $18. And that had been an offer up. Now this one, the markings are very faint, and this one I think is from 70. I had to take a picture with my camera and then like use my camera lens and upload it, because it is very faintly marked. But this is definitely Wedgwood. And this Jasperware vase was an offer up starting at 18. So you can let me know if you want the vase. And I see Bonnie. Bonnie is in for the coffee grinder. Then we had, let's see, the Easter. What is that? What is that? It says Easter basket. Why did I have this at Easter basket? My brain has completely cramped. Oh, and then we had the game and the pin. That's what. I didn't write the word pin down after that one. That was the pin. Because it's in there. And so then we had, I'll have to give this one a number. We had this little mask pin, porcelain mask pin, which is probably from the late 80s, mid to late 80s. No, it definitely, this thing was definitely out of style by 1995, but these things were all over the place. This is a really nice porcelain one in very good shape, has this neat gold and blue butterfly. It does not have a maker's mark to it. Does have back there is in good shape. And this was $4, number 24. Give it a number because we didn't at first. And then I had the button necklace. I kept the black one, but this was a crafter's piece that somebody made out of buttons my mom had a whole entire box of. And I don't know how they did it, but they alternated them and then have little gold beads holding them. And it's 30 inches long. So it goes right on over your head, and it doesn't, you may think it hangs really long, but it doesn't really hang super long. And really neat little piece. So, but this is just $2 because I didn't make it myself. So I don't have anything invested in the amount of time it would have taken to figure that one out. So it's $2, number 13 for the button necklace. And then the last thing was the game, the Vintage Whitman game, which was Hi-Ho Cherry-O. And you can see the little mark there. It was made by Whitman. There is a little damage to the box there where the label got ripped off a little bit. It was made in 1960. It has all its parts. It has the little pails for the trees. It has the trees and the spinner. And underneath here are all the little cherries. Because the game is to clear your tree of cherries, to clear it first. And they have all these little red cherries that have their little stems so that you can grab them by the stem, and they fit. You sit them on your tree. I don't want to tilt too far. I don't want it to run away. And then the spinner tells you how many to take off your tree, but it also has what happens if you spill your bucket. Then that means you have to take all of them out of your bucket, put them back on your tree. The dog and the robin also make you lose, but it's whoever clears their tree first. So if you have young grandchildren, this is an easy game for them because it's very simple and a lot of fun. I honestly could have fun with this kind of game if come on, let that bucket get back in there. I would have fun with this with grown-ups if I did it with a timer. That you only had, like, if you do the spin and then you only have like 3 seconds, you could really mess with grown-ups with that. But that is a nice vintage, and for the most part, it's in good shape. Everything inside is in really good shape. It's just that there's this wear mark here, and there's a tape mark, like this corner on the inside is taped, and there's a tape mark. Where'd it go? There's a tape mark there, and then this was the original price tag. That mark is there from that. But it does have on the side Western Publishing Company, Racine, Wisconsin, and the date is 1960. And Hi-Ho Cherry-O was $8. And where did I put your? Well, there it is. $8, number 55 for the Vintage Whitman game. And that's the recap, guys. That's everything that's still there. And as usual, everything you see in a sale, I usually try to date them in the title so that way you know that you have 1 week. If you see anything that hadn't been claimed during the sale, you have 1 week to either email me about it or put a comment in to get something that hadn't sold. After that, and then I will decide what I'm going to do with it, whether I'm going to donate it somewhere or throw it into my eBay store, my Etsy store. I haven't had much put up in there lately because life's been too full, and then I've been ill off and on. But things are, knock on wood, going pretty well. So I'm going to keep trying to plug away, keep going. I am determined. Things just feel so nice right now because we're so close to the end of crunch time for scouts. I have help this year with sorting out the merit badges, so I'm confident that we can do smooth sailing through that. And then having the fact that we now actually have a small grant and we have a roofer, and it just feels like a chunk of weight went off my shoulders when I got it pinned down to this one guy who said, you don't need to replace the whole thing. Look, this is solid. This will work. This is this. I mean, he went over everything, gave me pictures while they were climbing around. He was texting me pictures back. He was fantastic. And he's saying, well, tell you what, you got all this too, and you see where the vines messed up the gutter. We could fix that piece of gutter, and it won't cost you anything because I have some left over. I could, if you don't mind one that's pieced together that we'll have to caulk where the joints meet, I'll just use that because for me that's just scrap because it's too short. And I'm like, I don't mind. It's on the porch, so if it needs new caulking, I can reach that, and I can teach Michael how to do that. So I was just so happy. I've been smiling. For as chaotic as Scouts was yesterday, I was still smiling because I knew yesterday at 5 by 4:35 I'd found the roofer that I wanted. He was the last guy that actually got here for an estimate. But so we had Monday and then 2 on Tuesday and then him on Wednesday, and he was here, and he was here 2 hours. We did a walk around twice around the house because we did the first one, and then we went upstairs and he looked up in the ceiling and he was looking at that where all the tarps were and what was damaged on the walls, and then he wanted to see everywhere else. So he saw the downstairs hallway here because it had come through the wall, and he saw inside my bedroom and saw the damage where it came through on the far side of the house. And then he noticed that the front bathroom, there's some paint peeling, and that's why he wanted to see what was in the front. And Gary never told me there's been a wet mark that showed up over the winter in his room near the front wall. He never said a word that there was a leak showing up in there. And that's that running flat piece that goes off the front of the house that the guy said, look, you can see a hole here and you can see a hole here. And I could lean right out that window and see that. So, I mean, he was very thorough and climbed all over that roof, which, I was like, don't fall. Because on that side of the house, especially back here, it's a straight drop down. On that side of the house, if you drop, you're going to hit the porch roof and break something on yourself. So, but he was pretty confident. He's like climbing all over the place like a squirrel. And so he was, and with him texting me those pictures, in real time, because I couldn't go out on the roof with him. And he's texting me right to my phone the photos that he's taken. I got to see everything he saw. Nobody else was doing that, but he was great. And then we came downstairs, and we were out back, and he sat down at the picnic table, or what's left of the benches for the picnic table, and he's sitting there, and he's got a piece of paper and a pen, and he's going, okay, so it's this roughly, it's this amount of space. So it would be this square footage of shingles. So that means that would come out too. And he's got a whole formula thing in his phone. And he's like, okay, so that says that would be that. So he writes down a number. And then he's like, okay, so we need Tyvek for underneath it. So we're going to need this square footage of that. Then he's looking, he scrolls on the list because that would be this. He makes his list of stuff that he would need for supplies. And then, hi, Retro Ruby. Good night. But then he pulls the calculator part up and he's crunching the numbers right then and there. And then he's telling me all this other stuff he's going to do as well. So he's going to rip all those vines down. I'm so happy. Now, if I can just kill them. Mom liked her wisteria and she liked her trumpet vine. And I get it. The hummingbirds love the trumpet vine. But the trumpet vine is tearing apart my roof. So it's got to go. It is incredibly invasive. Been trying to kill that sucker for years. But yeah, I've just been so happy. I think we got, it just feels right. We got the right guy for the job, and it's gonna be good. And and him being willing to just like put the pieces of glass in for me too. That was a bonus. He's like, oh, I'll just do that because you need that done. And like, okay. And you have the glass, so why am I gonna be up there anyway? So I'll just, put it in. And he says, you buy the caulking because you'll be needing it for the rest of the windows, like you said. So you just give me the caulking and the pane of glass, and while I'm up there, I'll stick it in for you. Okay? So it just feels right. You ever have one of those things where everything just clicks and it just feels right? This guy just feels right. Seems like it's going to be good. So, but it'll be the first week in April. They should be back. We'll have the grant money then and can give him the deposit. And he said, you don't give me the rest until the job's completely finished. Like, good. One place actually had the nerve to tell me not only would they refuse to do it unless I did the entire roof, they wanted it all up front. You don't give anybody 100% up front. That's the quickest way to get ripped off. Never. You don't give anybody everything up front. So I'm happy. I'm happier than I've been in a long while. I'm always happy with you guys. I love you guys, and I'm happy when I'm at Scouts. But when I'm not, sometimes the weight of everything has been getting to me. So I needed some really good, and this has been really good. And so it's been a great 2 days. I just been smiling. Anytime I think about it, I just start smiling again. So thank you all for coming to the sale. I greatly appreciate your patronage. I always love that. Somebody's been watching videos because I've noticed that some of my earliest videos, somebody's gone back right to like the first year of videos and has been watching because I've suddenly got an uptick in the analytics, especially that one showing all those salt cellars, because I had been able to buy from an estate sale early on and got a massive amount of salt cellars and did really well with those. Videos of that have gotten quite a few views. And for some reason, the video about it broke my house when the tree had hit my house and broke the kitchen porch roof. That one's also gotten quite a few views lately. I don't know why, but somebody somewhere is like, a lot of the early ones, shopping at Goodwill and stuff, they've had like 3 views, 2 views, some only 1, but they're getting views. So it was kind of surprising. Somebody's going back and watching the old stuff. And I'm grateful because it definitely helps, especially if you you have to let at least 30 seconds, because I know sometimes they throw like 2 and 3 minute videos, commercials in. I have gone in and set all my commercial breaks instead of letting them do it, because after I saw one, because Michael doesn't have premium, so he sees the ads. And there was one where every 3 minutes, for some reason, one of my videos or live, the YouTube had put in every 3 minutes a commercial. Nobody's going to watch that. So I break them apart. Now, back on the earlier videos, they're only, I think, 15 minutes apart. But the later ones, I changed it to 20 minutes. So in shorter videos, there might only be one commercial break or two. And that doesn't mean that there will always be one, because apparently it depends on what they have to offer for video, I forget. I went to an online seminar thing that explained their analytics. So they don't always show a commercial, but they like to know where you're willing to put the breaks. I base them on time, so I could be in the middle of something when it pops up, because I don't know how to figure out the edit of where, because I don't hear it. I haven't figured out how to get it to play the video so I could see where they're at, so that it could tell me what would be a natural break, which is what they tell you to do. I haven't figured out how to do that yet. So I just do it by timing. I do it by the timestamp. So I thank you, though. I thank you all for that. I thank you for my 3 ladies who have memberships. Bless your hearts, because we have Nora, Lisa, and Marilyn. I thank you for that. I thank you for the super chats. I thank you for those who have done the link and bought me a coffee. I thank you all. That has been wonderful, and it is always such a, I have to admit, it is kind of a boost to my ego, and I really thank you for that, because over the winter I've needed those. So you guys have a good night, and let's see if there's anybody live. I always do this for you. I always check to see if there's anybody who's still live, and usually after me there's not. What's Bolo Buddies? There's somebody called Bolo Buddies. It looks like it's a jewelry sale. Oh, but it's now on Whatnot, untangling. I hate those Whatnot streams. You know why? Because I just don't see the point in streaming it on YouTube. Well, yeah, your YouTube viewers can watch it, but the sale itself is on Whatnot, so you can't buy anything if you're watching it on YouTube. So to me, that kind of defeats the purpose. So I'm not on Whatnot, because I can't handle that. I'm having enough of a challenge keeping up with my own life, as you all know, and then eBay, Etsy, and YouTube. So I am not about, and I have an Instagram, so I am not about to add another outlet for anything. Just because things just are not organized enough here. When I have an office, when we have the Black Hole Challenge room done, and I have an actual office space, studio space, maybe, but right now, it's all you darlings, and I greatly appreciate you. Thank you for coming. And for those of you who aren't subscribed, if you like what you see, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that little bell and set it to all notifications, because when I drop a video or a drop sale, or sometimes on a weekend I used to go live, that's always kind of hit or miss right now, because we aren't on a set schedule for all of this. So if you hit the notifications for all, then you will get notified of those. If you are a member of the channel, which one is it? The Fairy Realm. The Night Owls is the basic subscription that gets you the emojis and shout outs. Fairy Realm gets you drop sales 24 hours in advance of everybody else. and some videos that are just for that level. And then there's a Fairy Queen level, which I haven't had any takers on that one yet, but that's in the description. And what else was I going to let you know? Okay, next week, if I remember correctly, because I had to cancel from all that rain, completely destroyed my back on that live. If I remember correctly, I would have to do 2 sales in a row to get back on schedule for alternating chat and sale. And my calendar is upstairs. But if I remember correctly, we had this sale tonight, and then next week will also be a sale. Pretty sure that's how it needed to work. So I think next week will also be a sale. I will try to work harder at getting a preview video up a couple days in advance. I haven't been able to do that lately because everything has been, I got to hit the ground running and doing. And there is a little bit of a break in that tomorrow, in the coming week. So I will try to have a preview video up on Wednesday at the latest, knock on wood, for next week's sale. Okay, and I will see you guys all next Thursday night. And I'm really liking, and I hope you are liking too, this new start time of starting at 10. And look, we're still going till 1 a.m. But it's just working out better because I usually end up with doctor's appointments, or Gary's got them, or I end up getting woken up early by cats. But it's mostly gets us around the problem of me now having to go to doctor's appointments with him. And I'm going to have plenty of my own coming up. So, because I went back to the surgeon about the hernias, and the insurance won't give me a clearance for the CAT scan without ultrasound. So I have to set that up. So get one step at a time. Then I want to get all the backlog of shipping cleared out and a lot of stuff done before I ever have to go in for surgery. So yeah, 10 o'clock. I start at 10 o'clock Eastern time. So it just works great. It's been so much nicer. And if you like night owls, though, don't forget to check out Steph's channel. Steph sells stuff by the seashore. If you hit the 3 little dots to the right of her, one of her comments, it'll give you a spot. It'll give you a drop down, and it can say go to channel, and you can go and subscribe to her because she does late night sales too. So she does it on different nights. And you usually, Steph, you're usually on more than once a week. If I remember right, aren't you on 2, maybe 3 times a week some weeks? So definitely check out hers. And then you have Bonnie's Creative Gift Ideas is another channel. Yes, and you have yourself so together. You actually have a calendar. My life is just chaos, and that's hard enough to get me for one night consistently. So who else has a channel while we're thinking of it that was here? Lauren doesn't have a channel. Robin's new. She doesn't have a channel. Yeah, I think it's just you guys tonight that were here that have a channel. So go check out Bonnie and Steph. And I will see you guys next Thursday night. And it shouldn't be as much chaos because it's spring break, so I won't have 30 scouts to deal with the night before. It'll be a much calmer night. It'll be so much calmer next week. So I'll see you then. Have a great weekend. Stay dry, stay safe, because we've still got weird weather coming through. And from what I understand, north of me will be getting Northern PA should be getting snow by Saturday, and I will be getting more rain. Oh, joy. Oh, rapture. Oh, crap. But, won't be long, and we shouldn't have to worry about rain anymore. So see you guys. Have a great week. Bye.